So, welcome to the Transforming Abundance Block series. Today, we will reveal the next most common abundance block that conscious leaders, business owners, service-based entrepreneurs, change makers, visionaries, artists, activists face when stepping into that next level of your purpose, of your power, and your prosperity. And today we are going to speak about perfectionism. Perfectionism. I know this one well. I jokingly call myself a recovering perfectionist. So perfectionism is a pattern, an abundance block that you may meet, that you may know well, as you are going to take action in your business. Perfectionism can show up in all sorts of ways, but essentially it's wanting everything to be perfect, wrapped up in that perfect little bow before you do anything, before you take any action, before you put yourself out there. And of course, wouldn't that be wonderful if everything was just perfectly perfect? But unfortunately, what happens with perfectionism is this can create a lot of obstacles for you actually moving forward in your business. So what I see a lot of business owners struggling with is getting really stuck with being able to take action, not being able to move forward, wanting to have everything in place perfect before they can go and take that aligned action. And from my experience, unfortunately, it doesn't work that well that way. I was really desperately trying to be perfect in so many areas of my life. It created a huge amount of pain, whether it was through my body. I had eating disorders, for example, before I put myself out there, all along the way. And so what I realized is that in order to be able to move forward, I had to release this need to be perfect. So I call it being perfectly imperfect and taking imperfect action, because we often don't really grow and learn until we're actually doing, right? If you imagine a baby learning to walk or a toddler learning to walk, they try and then they drop, right? You can't just give the child theory on how to walk. They need to actually learn how to walk through doing the walking. And yes, they're going to fall. Yes, they're going to fail. They get up and try again. And what I found with expanding into a new level, anything that's new, that's the unknown, whether that's in your business or your life, you're going to have to face the unknown, and you're going to have to learn through doing. I call it grow as you go. But it's so uncomfortable. It is so uncomfortable. And so it's very important to learn to hold this perfectionism pattern that may come up, so that it doesn't stop you from moving forward. Another way I see perfectionism presenting itself is in how we present ourselves, right? How we show up. Do you feel that you need to be perfect, have all your ducks in a row before you will do anything? And what I found is this pattern of perfection is a bit of a pattern of protection, in that it actually creates separation. We create connection through authenticity, through vulnerability, welcoming your human, right? Your perfectly imperfect you. And so actually, when you can start to drop some of that perfectionism, it helps to create greater connection, perhaps with your future clients, friends, colleagues, right? So we actually want to drop that perfectionism pattern, because it actually, one, it doesn't work. It can stop you from taking action, but it also can really prevent you from creating greater connection, intimacy, and show up authentically. Now, this one's sneaky, right? This one's sneaky because this perfection pattern may have presented itself in your life as a way for you to get love, get approval, right? Think you're doing the right thing, being the good girl, getting that tick mark, right? We want to be perfect because that's how we get praise. That's how we get, get a sense of our value. And unfortunately, none of that is true either. Well, fortunately, it's not true. And so what we want to do is work on dropping this pattern from your energy system, from your nervous system, from your mind, so that you can drop into that heart, soul, body aligned truth that is really wanting to come through next, your purpose. And I see that perfectionism really blocking you and stopping you from stepping into really embodying, claiming, becoming that next level of your purpose, power, and prosperity. It's going to be messy, right? It's going to be wobbly. It's going to be uncertain as you're taking those steps forward. And the need to be perfect is just going to keep you frozen or keep you really stuck in these old patterns and programs. So, with that being said, we are going to work with this pattern of perfection now. I keep calling it protection because it is a pattern of protection. And let's see if we can transform it. Really transform this now with love, with safety, with your presence. So let's breathe in and we're going to drop in and see if we can transform this block for you now. Welcoming all of you here now. All of you here now. Let's land, let's arrive. And we're putting a loving spotlight on this pattern of perfection, the abundance block of perfectionism that may be running unconsciously through your nervous system, through your energy system, through the way that you think. And we're going to put a beautiful, loving spotlight on that now. I want to breathe in, breathe your conscious presence and attention in, because this is part of the journey of transformation. Your presence is so powerful and it helps us shift and change and transform in time. Not from a place of pressure or rush, but just from your loving presence. So let's call on your loving presence here now. Breathing in too. These patterns of perfection. We want to look at how these patterns of perfection are showing up in your business, in your life. And first, we want to identify where these patterns are running, how they're playing out. Where are these patterns of perfection, the need to have it all perfect and show up perfectly and have it all perfectly together, where this is showing up. So let's breathe in and see if we can bring our presence and our attention there. And I'd like you to reflect on, to think about, what is the cost of this perfectionism? What does this create, or how does this pattern of perfectionism create in your business, in your life? What is the cost of that pattern? How is it impacting you? So again, we want to bring your conscious presence and attention to this pattern now, so that we can begin to transform it in time. And let's breathe. And I always love to bring in a huge amount of love and compassion, safety and support for this part of you that's been desperately trying to get it right, trying to be the good girl, get approval, get love. However, whatever this pattern is trying to achieve, And let's breathe in and scoop up this part of yourself with your love, with your presence. And I like to imagine that we're going under you, right deep down into those foundations of yourself, bringing in all the love, the safety, the care that this part of you needs. So we're building these foundations of support to hold you, support you, underneath you and within you. Bringing this part of you all that you need to feel safe, to feel loved, to feel welcome, to feel validated. Let's breathe that in. All the love, care, and support that this perfectionism abundance block is really asking for, is really longing for, and is really needing. So let's open up to receive all of that love, that support, that safety, that you are loved and held and safe no matter what. And with this holding and support, we can start to give your body permission to let go of, to dissolve, to dismantle, to release the tension in your body that this pattern creates, the rigidity in your body that this pattern creates, the limitations in your body that this pattern creates. I'm going to let this dissolve and melt away as you land and sink into the loving support and holding that's here for you now. That's here for you now. And I know this is very confronting, or can be very confronting to the mind, to the ego, to those patterns of protection. So we need to keep bringing in those energies of love, support, holding, receiving yourself fully so that you feel safe and held in all that you are. That includes your vulnerability as well as your power. It all needs to be held. So breathing that in, breathing that in. And let's release with the exhale, letting go, releasing, letting go. Letting it go. Welcoming that very human part that doesn't have it all together, that's fumbling your way through, one step at a time, the vulnerable parts, the part that doesn't know, holding that part with love, dropping the facade, dropping the protection, releasing, releasing, releasing. So you hold you, and as you start to receive into your body from these solid foundations of safety, support, security, knowing that you're loved and held no matter what. Let's breathe that on in. Breathe that on. And in time, we create space for the next level of your purpose, of your voice, of your truth, of your message, of your great gifts to emerge, as those patterns of perfection start to dissolve. There's an inner leader, an inner knowing, an inner wisdom that can start to rise. And it may not be here right away, but as we bring down and transform these abundance blocks, we create space for new growth to come up and through. So let's welcome in the next level of your truth, your purpose, your power, your prosperity to emerge as you courageously release and let go of these patterns of perfection, needing to have it all sorted, all figured out, all perfect. Creation doesn't work that way anyhow. It's perfect in that there's a beautiful intelligence working here, but it's also embracing the mess, the wobbliness, the uncertainty, the unknown, right? That doesn't feel so perfect. It's part of it. It's part of it. So let's embrace all of life here, embracing all of life. and just calling that safety and security in to really hold the part of you that may not feel safe, right? Dropping these perfection patterns and ways of being. So we keep holding, and it's a journey. It's a work in progress, right? We're not going to be shifting it all right here, right now, but we want to just bring our conscious awareness and attention to start to soften, to release a bit, and that creates so much more space in the body. It frees up so much more energy when we start to release these abundance blocks, because these abundance blocks actually take a huge amount of energy to keep them in place. So you're using energy, putting your energy into spaces and places that are not really here to contribute to your heart, body, soul aligned growth and purpose. So let's one more time breathe into your beautiful body. Breathe into your beautiful body with so much love and compassion. So much love and compassion. We're releasing and letting go, creating space for these patterns of perfection, this abundance block of perfection. We're going to lovingly release and let it go. Bring in a bit of joy, bring in humor, lightness here. Because once we see what's happening, once we can see what's playing out, right, we can have a lot of compassion. We can even find humor in the whole thing. So beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Beautiful body. Beautiful body. Opening up to receive. And I'd love to ask you, with these patterns of perfection, softening, loosening, releasing, what wants to come through next? Right? If you didn't have to be perfect, right? Knowing that you're perfectly imperfect, what wants to come through next? What's ready? What's ready? What's calling you forth? Let's listen. Let's hear. You can meditate on this question. You can journal on this question. What's ready to come through? What wants to emerge? That inner wisdom, that inner voice, that inner knowing. And we receive it, be with it, embrace it exactly where it is now. And please write down any insights, awarenesses that have come through for you today. You may want longer. You may want longer with some of these questions, to reflect on them, to meditate on them, to journal with them. And remember that this is a journey, this is a process. And we meet these patterns one step at a time, one step at a time. So please give thanks to yourself for the willingness to dive in and explore the abundance block of perfectionism today. I hope you are finding love and compassion for yourself, creating safety for yourself, bringing in that support that you need so you can start to transform, to release, to dissolve some of these old abundance blocks so that you can make space for that next level to come through and emerge through you. Thank you so much.